Some men are born to break things, and some men break people. Brawl in Cell Block 99 is a slow-burning descent into brutality, where a man's will is tested not just in fists and blood, but in the choices he makes to protect those he loves. This is the story of Bradley Thomas, a former boxer, a man of few words, and an unstoppable force when pushed to the edge. Get ready, because once this ride starts, there's no turning back. Bradley Thomas isn't a bad guy, but life hasn't been kind to him. The opening scene tells us everything we need to know. He's a towering figure, shaved head, a cross tattooed on the back of his skull, and a quiet intensity in his eyes. He's a man built to endure pain, but even he has his limits. And when he loses his job as a tow truck driver, that limit is tested. He comes home to find his wife, Lauren, looking distant, disconnected. And then the gut punch. She's been unfaithful. Instead of screaming or breaking down, Bradley does what only a man like him would do. He walks outside, takes a deep breath, and then, calmly, methodically, destroys her car with his bare hands. Glass shatters, metal crumples, but he doesn't stop until it's nothing but wreckage. Then, he walks back inside and tells Lauren they're gonna fix things. 15 months later, things look different. Bradley has turned to the one thing that guarantees money fast: running drugs. He's working for an old friend, Gil, and life is stable. Lauren's pregnant, they have a house, and for once, there's a future in sight. But in a world like this, peace never lasts. One job. That's all it takes for everything to fall apart. Gil sets him up with a couple of new guys, and right away, Bradley doesn't like them. They're reckless, unpredictable. But orders are orders. They head out to make the deal, and just like Bradley suspected, it's a setup. The cops close in, chaos erupts, and instead of running, Bradley makes a choice. He takes out his own crew, because no way is he letting these guys shoot it out with law enforcement on his watch. He's not a rat, but he's not a killer either. He surrenders, and just like that, the future he was fighting for is gone. Bradley lands in a medium-security prison, and for a while, it seems like he might just do his time in peace. He keeps to himself. No trouble, no fights. Just time ticking away. But then comes the message that changes everything. The cartel boss, Eliezer, has a message for him. Because of the botched deal, Bradley owes a debt. And the price? His unborn child. Lauren is kidnapped, and unless Bradley does exactly what Eliezer wants, she will suffer in ways too brutal to imagine. The demand is simple. Get yourself transferred to Red Leaf Prison, a place so notorious it's spoken about in whispers. A maximum security hellhole where the worst of the worst are sent to rot. Bradley doesn't hesitate. He has one goal now: get to Red Leaf, by any means necessary. But getting to Red Leaf isn't easy. It's not a place they send just anyone. Bradley has to make himself dangerous enough to be transferred. So, he starts a fight. And not just any fight. He brutalizes a group of inmates with bone-crunching precision, breaking limbs, smashing faces, until the guards have no choice. The warden has him reassigned. Red Leaf, a place that makes his previous prison look like a vacation resort. And waiting for him is Warden Tuggs, played by Don Johnson, a cold, merciless man who runs his prison like a medieval dungeon. This is where the real fight begins. Welcome to Cell Block 99, a place where hope dies and pain is routine. Bradley is thrown into a windowless cell, barely big enough to move in, with a hole in the ground for a toilet. But he's not here to complain. He's here to find Eliezer's men and finish this point one by one. He fights his way up the food chain. Every hit, every broken bone, brings him closer to his goal. His style isn't flashy. It's raw, mechanical, devastating. The kind of fighting where every punch feels like a sledgehammer connecting with flesh. And the further he goes, the more ruthless he becomes. Until finally, he reaches his target. When Bradley finally stands face to face with Eliezer's enforcers, he knows there's no turning back. The cartel never planned to let him live. But they underestimated him. They see a man trapped in a cage. What they don't see is a man who's already decided. He's not leaving without destroying every last one of them. The fight that follows is a symphony of destruction. Skulls crack, jaws break, limbs snap. It's not just about survival anymore. It's about making sure they never hurt his family again. And in one final act of brutal defiance, Bradley takes out Eliezer himself. The price of victory? His own life. In his final moments, Bradley ensures Lauren's safety, making one last call before facing Warden Tuggs and his guards. He knows what's coming. There's no escape, but he's at peace with it. Because in the end, he didn't fight for revenge. He fought for love. And sometimes, love demands the ultimate sacrifice. As the guards close in and the screen fades to black, one thing is clear. Bradley Thomas was never a hero. He was never a villain. He was just a man who refused to let the world break him. And that is why he'll never be forgotten. Brawl and Cell Block 99, it's a movie that doesn't ask for sympathy. It only asks, how far would you go to protect the ones you love?